Problem number 1. The new girl threw a silk tunic in with the linens. In Andora's opinion, mistakes were part of the learning process. One wool cape, shrunk in the wash, just meant that next time you'd remember to spot clean the material. However, Andora also knew that the nobility seldom cared for the pedagogical musings of the peasantry. As such, learning opportunities stemming from mistakes had to be handled with a certain level of creativity and tact. This was one such situation. Andora, head laundress of Lord Shirefordshire's castle, knelt next to a junior laundress sobbing on the stone floor. She patted the poor girl's shoulder as she considered the half-dissolved silk tunic pulled from the linen waters. "I'll be dead by morning," the girl wailed. "Lord Sark will call for my head on a block for this transgression." "There, there, dry thy tears." Andora grabbed part of her apron and offered it to the girl. Through her haze, the junior laundress blew her nose on the garment. Holding back a gag, Andora continued her comforting words and gestures. She eyed the silk tunic once more. Despite her demeanor, this was quite the predicament. She once again eyed the damaged fabric. It had to be that ornery bastard Lord Sark's silk shirt. The once elegant white garment was lined in delicate embroidered pink roses and green vines. Wait, she thought. Pink roses? Across the room, she caught the eye of another junior laundress, Lisbeth, if she recalled correctly. Andora thanked God that Lisbeth understood what her darting eyes were asking for as the girl joined them. "Do you need anything, madame?" she asked. "Yes, do you need any help with sorting the clean laundry for tomorrow's deliveries?" "That would be much appreciated, madam." "Excellent. Why don't you and Katerina keep to this area while I go check on a few things?" She left no room for argument in her tone as she looked down at the girl. "Katerina, did you hear me?" "Yes, madam," she managed through hiccups. "But what about—" "I don't believe it concerns you any more. Speak not a word of it." Andora swept her gaze across the room to emphasize the importance of discretion. Without elaborating further, she grabbed the ruined silk tunic and left the room. Andora had little reference for castles and other elaborate dwellings, but if she were to gauge Lord Shirefordshire's estate, she would describe it as modestly grand. The tapestries may have been silk, but the grain stores were ample and well guarded. It was a place where you only had to tread lightly if you were up to no good, and in her experience, there were many reasons to be up to no good. She was careful to stay out of sight of all who dwelt and worked within the castle as she snuck out a side entrance leading toward the kennels. The lord's prized hunting hounds were said to be bred from sturdy wolfhounds gifted long ago from a faraway land. Now, these dogs grew fat and spoiled by all the residents of Shirefordsshire, be they peasant or noble. For her part, Andora was not immune to their charm and regularly stole them treats from the kitchen. Now, she had a different task for them. Going from kennel to kennel, she released the hounds into the main walkway. They jumped and barked in delight as they scratched on the door, eager to be let loose and chase. She sent up a quick prayer before unlatching the main door and running for the back towards the area where the straw bedding was stored. She shuffled through the hay until she found the hole in the back wall left there the previous year by Sir Kyle's horse. It was barely big enough for her to fit through, but she managed to slip out of the kennels just as the front of the building was sent into chaos. In the commotion, knights and guards were pulled from their post, and the visiting nobles gathered at windows and balconies to watch the spectacle. Andora used the precious few minutes to enter Lord Elaine of Rote's guest quarters and snuck the shirt into his trunk, with the embroidery on the sleeve barely showing over the side. By the time Andora returned to the laundry room, the hounds had been wrangled back into their kennels, and the laundresses had composed themselves. Life continued as usual until past the afternoon meal, and just before supper they heard a ruckus outside. "Thou wouldst accuse me of such petty theft!" Lord Elaine shouted from just outside the banquet hall. Andora leaned against the threshold and allowed the other laundresses to pause their work to watch and listen from the safety provided by the gathering crowd of nobles. "I need not accuse thee, for the evidence is clutched within mine hands," Lord Sark shouted. "And wherefore would I carry out this dreadful act? What would compel me?" Lord Sark tutted in offence and spat at Lord Elaine's feet. "Think me a fool? Think mine sight dull? Thy lady's embroidered favour be stitched into the sleeves!" Lord Elaine's face turned an impressive shade of crimson when he saw the detail, before he wound back his fist to strike Lord Sark. The other nobles screamed, the maids scurried away, and Lady Sark fainted on the spot. Andora could only smile and nod at Katerina's odd expression. "Come on, girls, you've had your fun," she said as she ushered the laundresses back inside.